Orange Alliance members, welcome. This is all about you guys here tonight. Thanks so much for joining us here. And first and foremost, we want to send our well wishes to you and your families during this crazy time. I mean, we thank you for your support. We feel you supporting us on all of our social media channels, and we want to be back at the rink as much as you guys do. So until that happens, though, we hope that you're enjoying the replay of the 4 wins during the Stanley Cup final back in 2007. It culminates with game number 5 here tonight, taking place on Prime Ticket and Fox Sports Go in about an hour. It's been pretty exciting to watch and relive those moments. And our guests here were on the ice during those moments. So without further ado, they really don't need introduction, but of course, members of your 2007 Stanley Cup champion Anaheim Ducks team, Teemu Selanne, Giguere, and Chris Pronger. Gentlemen, how the heck are you guys doing? Anyone can speak. Just
Teemu, go ahead.
Just go.
I'll start. I'm the oldest, so I can start. Everything is
We'll let the king of Kodo go.
Yeah.
So far, everything has been okay. You know, obviously it's a tough time for everybody, but there's a good things too. You know, bring the family together, and they can't go anywhere, so we can spend a quality time together, you like it or not.
You're laughing. I noticed there's some beards being grown. Maybe that's because we're thinking about the playoffs. But for some reason, Teemu, you don't go gray. Have you been coloring your beard?
Absolutely not. Not yet.
I don't believe that, Teemu.
I hardly believe it. Jiggy, you're just gray all around, so you just shave your head and everything, right? You just said forget
I just shave it all off, you know. It's by the way, I haven't lost my hair. I just shave it off. That's what I tell people. I'm not bald. But anyway, thanks for asking. But no, things have been good here too, you know. It's been it's been a tough time in Montreal as well. Montreal's been hit pretty hard with this virus, but like Teemu say, you know, it's been nice to spend time at home with the kids. So if there's a silver lining right now, it's this. We're taking advantage of that, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to resume our life a little bit like normal soon. But I know my kids personally are going back to school in about a week and a half. So teacher Jiggy here is very excited about that.
Where you have been teaching?
Teaching English of all.
Hopefully not English.
English?
No, English.
I know. No wonder they're failing.
So they're gonna have a really strong accent as well.
They better get back to school quick. Hey, Prongs, how are you doing? Are you in St. Louis or where are you?
St. Louis, yeah. We're doing good. It's same boat as everybody else. Online schooling, and the only time I leave my house is to go get groceries. And thankfully, we have a big enough house that we can kind of get our own space if we need it. But it's been difficult here as well. It's I think they're getting ready to maybe open up on Monday. But, you know, I think that's going to be slow, much like the rest of the parts of the country that are going to open. So we'll see. We're fortunate here. You know, it's hasn't been terrible, but like some parts of the country. But, you know, it's whether there's one or, you know, 1,000 or whatever it is, it's tough.
Yeah, my 3-year-old daughter right now is Zooming with her preschool classroom, about 10 kids screaming and yelling in the other room. So that's kind of our new normal, it seems like now. And I have a new normal, by the way. Can you see this?
Oh, that's solid.
Nice.
Is that just amazing?
That's solid. Hold on.
Hollywood.
There you go.
I knew you were going to do that. This is the new normal for Chris Pronger, ladies and gentlemen. This is what he's been up to. Going on a little Instagram Live tomorrow night.
If you really want to know, come on tomorrow.
What's happened to you? What? You had an edge. You had this edge.
Yeah, I know. I've softened, Frenchie. It's, you know what? It's too much media. It gets to you.
Sure does. Yeah, look at me. I'm starting to go gray all over because of this. Well, gentlemen, I'm glad you and your families are doing really well, and we can't relive. We're going to relive some moments from 07. Our Orange Alliance members have sent some questions, which is pretty cool. But I want to get started actually.
Can I ask a question?
No,
I didn't play in game 4, so I'm in this one though, right?
Sure.
Yes, you are.
You
Were you suspended?
Just need to double check.
Were you?
I did get suspended twice.
Not permitted to play for some reason?
No, I just was making sure I wasn't suspended for this one too.
No, you're okay. We haven't muted you yet. You're good. You're in.
All right.
You're in.
right.
So I want to go to 2006 prior to this whole thing because just months before you guys started making your run, all of a sudden you're in the conference finals and playing for the Oilers. What? I'm sure you guys liked each other at the time. What was the thoughts?
First of all, 06, we were a way better hockey team than the Oilers when Barnes were playing there. But somehow we lost. I think Chicky was your fault, guys.
No, I didn't play. I wasn't playing. Grizz was playing.
Oh yeah, you had issues.
I played the last game. But anyway, I couldn't play in Edmonton anyway to start. So that was probably for the better. But remember, Grizz went on a run in the playoff that year and played unbelievable. But it's true that throughout the playoff, playing against Prongs, we just hated him. Like there was not one single player in our dressing room that liked him. And we were conflicted. When Berkey made that trade, we were all conflicted whether we were happy or not. At the end of the day, we knew we were getting, a hell of a hockey player, but we weren't sure if we were going to like him.
Teemu, who do you think got traded for?
It was my birthday, July 3rd, when Alex Gilchrist called me in Finland and said, we got Pronger. And I said, I didn't know Pronger is available. I thought first it was his brother. And,
I get Sean back?
Yeah. What? Yeah, we got Chris Pronger. So I think that was the missing piece. I think we were so close, but we needed one little edge, and here we got it.
Do you guys stay in touch at all? Do you care? I mean, are you friends? Is this the first time you talked to Pronger in how long?
No, well, we've stayed in touch lately. We've Todd Marchand created this group me text. So that's been actually very nice to keep in touch. It makes it easier to chirp each other or, getting some news on one another. And same time, I mean, it seems like every year we had an event in Anaheim. So we always, some of the guys always went back. So you get to, catch up then. And every once in a while, obviously, I stay in touch with François Beauchemin because he lives so close. But it's hard. There's so many guys that you've played with and you have so many friends. You kind of lost track after a while.
Teemu, by the way, thanks for wearing your alumni shirt tonight. We appreciate it.
Well, first of all, I'm size M right now. And you guys keep sending those extra large shirts. Every time, and I tell every time that's way too big, and they still keep sending same size.
Teemu's leaning out in quarantine. That's fine. Right. We're going to get some questions here from our Orange Alliance members because I have quite a few of them here. We have several hundred people watching here tonight. So let's get this thing rolling here. We're going to start with Kevin Draws from Santa Ana, California. It is to the group, really just kind of paraphrasing his question, but wants to know just key plays or moments that stand out to you guys from that run. I would just say really, let's talk about the finals specifically because I'm sure there's a ton of stuff. But Teemu, we'll start with you. During the finals, was there a key play, key moment that really stood out to you as something that you'll never forget?
You know what? It's hard to remember everything, but I think the Detroit series was so tough, and we knew that if we can get by them, we were expecting final maybe be even easier than the conference final, and I think it was a little bit. But the 07 team was so special. We were so. I think we have all the tools, all the puzzles, and we had toughness, we had speed, we have skills. And that team was built so smartly that we're just joking about that. We're probably the most penalizing team in the league, and we still won. That usually doesn't go hand in hand. So, but it always takes when everybody's doing their jobs, and some guys can even play a little better than normally. That's what it takes. And it felt like that team had a big mission, and I always said passion. And it was a year that we always gonna remember that. It was a very special group.
By the way, the Ducks team today is still paying for those penalties. I think all the referees still think that's the 07 team. So no gifts out there at all. Jiggy, anything for you specifically that stood out to you for those wins?
There's a few things for me. I was always impressed with the injuries and suspension that we had. The guys that came in and played, the Black Aces. I can't imagine being a guy that's put in that situation where you only practice. It seems like you don't see the light of the day really, because the team that you're practicing for is just playing so well. I mean, it's a long 2 months, but those guys were ready. Every time they step in, they did a good job. And like Teemu say, everybody had to contribute. And the Black Aces guys really did an amazing job, helping us, when we needed their help. And hockey-wise, a special moment I thought for me is, Teemu's goal against the Red Wings was pretty amazing in overtime. I think was it in overtime against Ashek? You're back in. Anyway, that was a pretty amazing goal. And then there was Scott's goal against Luongo. And I remember Luongo had left the ice. I think it was to go to the bathroom, and we just peppered the backup goalie, and we couldn't score the goal in overtime. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, we have to win. There was our chance right there to win, and we ended up getting a goal, kind of not really a great goal by Scotty. Roberto was complaining to the referee that Rob did an elbow. He never would do that. And then Scotty just ended up putting it in. So there was to me, it was such a key goal to our playoffs too.
Prongs, what about you? With this run, I mean, being in the finals the year before, to be able to come back and do it one more time, I mean, what jumps out at you?
Well, I think just, to kind of jump on what both Teemu and Jiggy said, when you look at our season and the start that we had, and then, we had a number of injuries and kind of lost our way for 10 or 12 games, and then realized how we needed to play to be successful. And then you get into the playoffs, everything that happened with Jiggy and his son, and then you got Briz playing well, and then Jiggy comes back in, timely goal scoring, the shutdown line, doing what they did with Sammy and Robbie and Mo, and our fourth line, guys shuttling in and out, Cooney getting hurt, other guys stepping up. I mean, it was just like, who's up next? And they just kind of seamlessly filled into the mix. And we had guys that, as Jiggy said, I'm pretty sure they didn't think they were going to be playing. They were just happy to kind of be along for the ride. And they'd played in the minors for a couple of years and were down. And all of a sudden, like playing in the Stanley Cup finals and thrown into the situation that they were thrown in. It can't be easy when you're practicing. They're not even practicing with us. They're practicing on their own. There's like 8 guys out there skating. I don't think people realize how taxing that can be mentally, and trying to stay prepared and stay aware of the situation. And then ultimately, we had 3 or 4 guys that were part of our Black Aces playing Stanley Cup finals games. So, I think just overcoming adversity and injuries. And then obviously I think when we watch some of those games through the course of the finals, when we watch Jiggy make a big save, the team lifts up, and we seem like it wasn't long after we would go down and get that big goal to either tie the game or get the lead. And then we would just kind of put the pedal back down. And, I think when you look at teams that win the cup, it's obviously timely goaltending, timely goals scored, playing defense, and being able to have guys come into the mix that sometimes a lot of fans don't know who they are or where they come from. And I think, that speaks to that team.
Yeah, absolute depth, and so many injuries happen, as Jiggy mentioned. It's a long 2 months, and to be able to have those guys come in is absolutely huge. And just a reminder, Game 5 is tonight on Prime Ticket and Fox Sports Go, top of the hour, 6 o'clock. So make sure you tune in to see that game. I won't give it away, by the way. This one is for Angel. It's from Angel Ramirez, La Habra, California, and I'm going to shoot this one at Teemu. With everything you had to go through, Teemu, coming back, taking the year off because of the lockout, the surgery, and coming back to Anaheim, what was it like the night before? Being able to know you could clinch the Stanley Cup at home. What was that like?
Well, first of all, it was hard to even sleep because you're so excited, and I'm one of those guys that I had to wait 15 years to get even chance. We went to second round a couple of times, but never went to the conference final until year before. And we try to remind each other almost every day that this is going to be probably the best chance in your career. And I always laugh about Getzi and Perry. That was pretty much the first full year in the league, and they go and win the Stanley Cup, and they probably thought that we're gonna win 4-5 for sure. No problem. This is quite easy. It's so hard to win, and I just that time I there were so many times in my career before that I was not believing that I can win one day.
Yeah.
So you have to be in the right time in the right place, and when you get the chance, you have to take advantage of that, and that's what we try to remind each other every day. But I remember the night before, I didn't sleep very well, maybe 2-3 hours, and your body is just so excited and so fired up that it's hard to really relax. And 2 months playoffs, it's almost like a war. Like I always remember the time when we won, and how tired you are mentally and physically, and it takes so much, and people have no idea how big a commitment it is, and how hurt the guys are. I always remember that game before, we had 8-9 guys going to the doctor's office to get a little shot before the game and get all the pain off what you have. So it's just something that it's hard to describe. But for me, especially at the Bronx, luckily Bronx didn't win night before. The year before, so he was so hungry to win the Stanley Cup too. And Scotty wanted to win with his brother. Cheeky went to 2003 to the finals. So we had so many guys. We had just a huge mission and passion to win the biggest dream in our career. So I think those things really help us.
It was an accomplishment not only to win it, but the first team in California to win it, as you guys know. I mean, that was remarkable. But of course, Alex Gilchrist had to send me some facts, so I will read you another fact, Billy. Not only the first team to win the Cup in California, but the first West Coast team to win the Cup since the 1925 Victoria Cougars. Chew on that one for a moment. And the first U.S. West Coast team to win it since the 1917 Seattle Metropolitans. So there you go there, right? I got another question here from Whitney Klein. Hello, Whitney. Good to see you from Laguna Hills, California. Jiggy, I'm going to tee you up on this one. What was the best locker room moment during the Stanley Cup final? You can tell us. Yes.
Well, I can tell you.
As Chris Pronger sits back and folds his arms.
Hold on.
Gosh, it's such a good question. I mean, there's so many things that happen in the dressing room during the playoff. But tell you, after we won, the Finnish guys, Teemu's friends, they were just crazy. Those guys were just like crazy. They were everywhere in the room. They were like on top of stalls, and they were, so much fun. Saying during the playoff, it's hard to help me out, guys, because it's a tough one, because many things happened during. Mostly, like Teemu said, we always kept reminding ourselves, whenever we had any doubts, because we had some tough loss too during. Well, we didn't have that many, but we had some loss. And we had to remind ourselves that we're good, and that we're we have a goal, and that this is our year. Like we've from the beginning, from the September on, we know that this is our year. But was there a specific moment in the dressing room, something that happened? It's been a long time. I don't remember.
Okay, Prongs, what do you got?
All right. No. You know what? Like Jiggy said, I think really there was nothing crazy or anything where, there was turmoil or anything that happened in our locker. I mean, really, after losses, it was like, all right, flush it. Let's go. We got to win the next. We didn't lose 2 in a row. It was all right. We got to get back on the horse and get going again. I think the way the regular season had gone for us, I think had helped us and trained us for different types of adversity, whether it's injury, whether it's losing a game, and how we bounce back and how we play after a loss. All those little things You know, and I think really it was just keep your eye on the prize. You know, we, other than Scotty, everybody else was searching for their first cup. And, you know, I think Odie had been, as Teemu said, Odie had been there. I'd been to a final, Robbie been to a final, Jiggy been to a final. Some of us had been to a final, but we hadn't won. And as we know, and now Getzy and Perry know, it's not that easy to win. There's so many things that have to go in your favor, and things have to go right. I mean, you look at career years by Moa and Niedermayer, the year Teemu had, the year Andy McDonald had, Cooney had, Getzy and Pears kind of coming into their own in the year they had. And you start adding all those things up. You need all those things to happen to be in the position that we were in. And then it was a matter of, all right, now we have to sustain this level of play for 2 months. And there's a lot of teams that just can't do that. I know that team, we couldn't do it. In Philly, we got to the finals and we were just done. Guys were fried. And this team, we were a veteran team, and we just knew this is our time. Like, this team was put together for 07. That was the year for us to make hay and to win. And I think everybody in the locker room, to a man, would just look around at each other. If somebody was either hanging their head or somebody was, you know, like Teemu talking about passion and all the rest of that. I mean, every time he says passion now, I get goosebumps, because it just brings me back to being in the locker room right before we go step on the ice. That was his saying. And everybody kind of come together, and boom, we go out the door.
You know, it's interesting when you say that too. It's so tough, and you're right. When you get there, I hear the story. You think that you can get back again, you know, once you get there. But I know for you guys, Prongs and Jiggy, being there, you guys kind of sensed how hungry, how tough it is, and along with Teemu, just finally making it over the hump. But you know, Jiggy, I'm gonna toss one at you. When you have a team like you did in 07, not knowing though, I know Teemu was thinking about, you know, hanging it up, and same with Scotty, but did you guys think you had a chance to make another run at this thing with the group that you had? Did you look at this team around the locker room and say, hey, we're built to do this another time? You know, I know it's tough with Berkey to try to keep everyone together, but do you guys think you were going to do this thing again?
I mean, obviously, if we had kept the same team, and I think we could have done that again. We had a good enough team. A lot of things happened in the next season, and I think it was hard for us to get going. It was hard for us once we get to the playoffs. We didn't have that same hunger. I don't think we had the same confidence either. It took a toll on us and a lot of the players. I know I was tired in 2008. It was not my best season.
You start in London too.
No, yeah. Exactly. We started in London, and once we got to the playoff, I think the anger of winning wasn't there, unfortunately. But you know, I think we could have, you know, tried to get something going. Obviously, it's so hard. Anything can happen during a season. The chemistry might be just a little bit off, and then your chance of winning is not there. So, you know, from year to year, you may have the same team, but so many things can happen that will make it you won't go to the end.
One thing, Frenchie, that I always tell every year is different. You could win one year with the exact same team, and the next year have the same complete team, and it's a totally different year.
There's so many things have to go right.
Exactly. Career years and all the things that I was talking about. The next year, you're not getting those career years. They're having good years, but they're not having career years. There's all kinds of different things that play out through the course of a year, through the summer, injuries, the toll of the playoffs, all those things. There's a lot of things that can happen.
I got a locker room story that I need to share, and Prongs, I'll never forget this. It was during the finals, and of course, all you guys know Pronger kind of ran the room after a game. But I don't even know how many media, 50 people, microphones shoved in your face. I had my Ducks mic. I'm sitting there, and everyone starts peppering you with questions. You're like, hold on. Like, in-house, you go first, and it better be good.
You got the first one. Make it a good
50
one.
people just looking at me going, first of all, who the hell is in-house? And this guy with a Ducks microphone, and why does he get to go first? I don't even know what the hell I said. Hopefully it was a good question, but yeah.
It was great.
That was fantastic. Great. That was good stuff. Bob DeLucio of Aliso Viejo, California. He wants to know, Team, I'm going to start with you. What is the funniest thing that happened on the day you had the cup? And I will say, I had the distinct pleasure to be able to follow you to Finland with the cup. There wasn't a lot of sleeping going on. That's all I know. That's all I know.
It was a great weekend, but very tough. Very tough. Well, you guys showed up Friday morning, and we tried to do everything what we have to do Friday. So we went to Children's Hospital, and then there's a big happening in the downtown. Maybe like 10, 15,000 people came to. There's a big, like a festival kind of thing, because the cup is there. But then it was just private parties with my buddies, and I didn't sleep in 1 minute in that whole weekend, so it was crazy.
You went full on Finn.
I always remember when
it was everywhere.
Guys, usually only one guy traveled with the cup, and I said I need two. Alex Gilchrist promised to ask if he can bring two guys, and then he came back to me and said, "Teemu, this guy has done this 20 years. He doesn't need another guy." I said he needs another guy. So then, Sunday morning, about 9 o'clock, we went to this downtown karaoke bar, and the one guy was already sleeping. And then Walt, the other guy, said, "Teemu, I have seen how you treat this cup. I can't even stand anymore. I have to go back to hotel. So please don't lose the cup. I meet you 5 o'clock in this place." So I already had that like 7 hours by myself. And then when they left, they said, "Thank God you asked for two guys." So it was just very special weekend, but luckily it happened only once.
Oh God! I remember talking to you in the limo going to the airport, trying to interview you, and you didn't have a voice. It was amazing, amazing. Prongs, you got one for me with the cup?
No, I had a great party at my house in Shady Canyon. Sugar Ray came and played.
Oh,
It
nice.
was nice touch by them. Let's see, partied till about 4 a.m. before the cops, on their third time around, finally said, "All right, I think it's time to shut this down." But they came in and got some pictures. And
I was gonna say, I bet you.
I was sitting upstairs talking to somebody, and my event planner comes up and goes, "Oh my God, Chris, the police are here." I go, "Invite them in."
By the way, you just heard Chris say event planner. You had an event planner for that day?
Sure, why not? You got to do it up right. You never know when you're going to get back there.
Yeah, why not?
It's a lot to plan.
You know what?
It's a
I
lot
can
to
tell
plan.
you this.
What?
Everybody that was at that party still talks about that party.
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
It's Frenchie. It's a lot to plan because you don't want to miss anybody. You want to, that might be your only chance, and it was for all of us to have a party with that cup. So you want to make sure that it's memorable, that you do it in a way that the people that matters the most for you, that put more time in your career when you were growing up, your family and stuff. You want to make sure that they have quality time with the cup. Also, at the same time, you want to thank people that are, influence you during your life, and people that means something for you. So you want to plan all these things. And it's, I remember I didn't have an event planner because I'm not, not strong, but my wife was the event planner. And I remember she was like, it was a lot for her to plan. There was a lot of little things that needed to go right to make sure that, because it's a tight schedule. You go from one place to the next, and you got to make sure that you don't miss any time with anybody. So, but what a blast it is to spend the day with that cup.
Yeah, and I can't imagine, that's a great point, Jiggy. There's so many people that help you get to that point, and you finally get there, and you want to make sure you thank everybody. So I'm sure you run out of time. I mean, it's just you need like a couple weeks to be able to take it and at least get a little sleep along the way. But that's just not the case. We're gonna keep rolling here. Eric Schwartz from San Clemente. This is a good one. Prongs, you kind of touched on this one, but I'll start with you on this. So many great players on 07 team. Was there a player on the team that didn't get a lot of accolades? Didn't get a lot of fanfare, the star treatment, but it was kind of an unsung hero on that team?
I think we had a lot of those guys. I think when you look at the team and you look at you know, everybody talks about the four defensemen, and you got me and Odie, and you got Scotty and Bosch. You got Joe DePenta and Husky, and Rick Jackman in the late acquisition. You have you know, our fourth line. We pick up Sean Thornton, pick up Brad May, pick up George Peros. You look at the heart of our fourth line and what they did for us all season long, and then throughout the playoffs. You know, we were watching Game 4 last night, and I'm texting Mayday going, dude, you're playing on the first line with Teemu. Like, what's going on? You know, like we had guys that, you know, as we talked about, that were able to be pushed up and down the lineup.
Yeah.
You know, he knows it. You know, he's a veteran player, knows his role. He knows what they need him to do. Go to the net, get pucks to Andy Mack or Teemu, and get to the net and create havoc. You know, we had so many of those guys that played vital roles for us, and you know, Todd Marchant with his leadership and his penalty killing, and you know, obviously the checking line. You know, they get a lot of the credit, as they should, for the way that they played, not only throughout the year but stepping up their game. I know in the finals, them matched up against the Spezza line, they had the puck more and were in their end more than that top line was, and that top line during the East playoffs was very dominant and controlled the play for the most part, and they ate them up. And you need matchups like that, and you need players, as I said, to kind of step up and play roles and allow the stars and allow, you know, the top two lines, or, you know, the way the lines follow suit, to be able to do their jobs and play to the best of their ability. And those guys aren't placeholders. They have roles and they have jobs, and when they get on the ice and they get to play, they're competing and doing what's necessary to help us win.
Yeah, boys.
I'm not only checking and shut down the Spezza's line, but they scored huge goals in those finals.
Oh yeah.
Sammy, the game winner, game 2, and Moen. So that line was very, very special, you know. And we were always joking about that they can spend 3 hours in offense zone but not have a one shot. So they were controlling the puck very well.
and Frenchie too, like you know, I know Briz didn't play many games, but if Briz is not ready when my son is born and I can't play, and he's not ready to play and he's not confident, you never know. Maybe we're out in the first round, because, you know, we all know our goaltending can influence a game in the playoff, and you need, you know, you don't always need a guy to stall a game, but you need him to just be solid enough to give you a chance. You know, if in the first period you're having a hard time finding your legs and stuff like that. But Briz was ready. He stepped up at the moment, and it gave me a chance to deal with my things at home.
Yep.
And you know, it whatever he did, we needed him to do that, and he did it great.
Just another example of the depth, and just having a guy, you guys being able to, you know, lean on him and think that he was going to stand up and do it, and he did it. So yeah, once again, just another layer of that team. I'm going to go off the finals for a second, because this is such a great question. This is from Michael Ferry, Rancho Santa Margarita. JS, were you surprised when Teemu came over to you and grabbed you in that last home game and you guys made that lap around Honda? Did you know that was coming? What's the story behind that?
Well, yeah, we had talked about it. What Teemu wanted to do it, absolutely, and I wasn't sure if you know, it was Teemu's last game, regular season game in Anaheim, and I didn't want to steal his spotlight. You know, he's meant so much for this organization, for the city, and I felt that was his moment, and I didn't want to, you know, I was just happy to be there. I was just happy to play. I ended up playing that game. That was out of the blue. I found out in the morning, and so I was happy to be part of Teemu's last game. You know, that was exciting to me, and but he made it so special, because that ended up being my last game too that I played, and he made it so special. I always, you know, it's one of my fondest memory in the NHL that he did that, you know, and it just speaks of the level of what Teemu is. Everybody that's met Teemu, you guys know him. That's You see him right now on TV with the smile. That's Teemu Selanne right there. He'll never say no to an autograph. Always be polite and always have a good time. And he doesn't want to have a good time by himself. He wants to share with the rest of his teammates. And it was a great night for me. And thank you, Teemu, again.
It was my pleasure, and I knew that it might be your last game too. So I was thinking about doing that even earlier, but then I was almost forgot that, but luckily I saw you there and I said, now it's time, and it was a very special moment for me too. Like you said, I didn't feel comfortable to go around the rink by myself, so getting you there as well, you can enjoy that so much more. And obviously you said so nice things about me, but what you have done for this organization and the fans and the community, it's just like as much as I have done. So I think it was a very special moment for both of us, and what a great moment.
That was great.
All here.
Yes.
It was a great moment for everyone that was in attendance. And
brothers.
Yeah, I remember I had tried to interview you that night, and I was like on the bench waiting for you, and I had no idea what was going on. So Teemu was skating around, giving high fives and everything, and they're yelling in my ear to find Teemu, and I had to go get you away from everybody. But yeah, that was an amazing moment. So, yeah, it was awesome to be part of it, and I share all the fans, especially the Orange Alliance members. Thank you for that as well. Prongs, need to talk to you. This is make sure you're not running out of your drink there. We had the freeway face-off that took place the other night, kind of the virtual one, pretty funny. Allie was able to do an interview with you during the first intermission. Yes. Can you please, this is a question from Kathleen Stearns from Westminster. One of the best parts of the show is Chris Pronger walking out with the towel around his neck and looked like he just come off the ice. Whose idea was that?
I was talking with Steve Holm, and he's like, hey, will you do this? We want to get an interview. They're going to do one with LA player. We want to get you act like you kind of come off a shift at the end of the period. Guys are like huffing and puffing. They're sweating. They get the towel. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm dousing myself with water, and I got the towel around, and I'm drinking the Gatorade, and I'm like acting like I'm tired. I'm like, hold on, Allie. Okay, what was that?
Oh,
so I played it up a little bit.
No, shocking, but that was good. Well done.
I'm gonna put that on my B-roll.
On your Insta Live. Oh God.
I was having fun with it, Frenchie.
I'm glad, and we all enjoyed it. We all thank you for that. I'm going to keep rolling here. I think we're doing pretty good, guys. We got about 20 minutes before we play that final game. So Rob Rome from Orange, California. This is to you, Prongs. JS mentioned to him about a charity fundraiser that you had set up to take the team to Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. Is that right? Go 06, 07?
Yeah, no, we were playing in Tampa, and I got tickets so we could all go to the Bucs game.
You guys, and kind of the question morphs into what other type of team building stuff did you guys do during that season that really helped bring that team together? Do you have any one that jumps out at you? Did you do kind of team building stuff?
Teemu, do you remember when we had to skate and push the nets in training camp? I don't know if that's team building, but
that's
too happy about that one.
I'm going to leave the room. You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
First of all, we were by far the best shaped team in the league.
By far.
So high.
By far.
Training camp was harder than the playoffs.
Really?
So Randy make us.
I've never heard that before.
It's just like.
Face off is optional.
No, yeah. By the way, Frenchie, there was no such thing as an optional. There was no such thing as not going out for pregame skate. No such thing as a day off. If we got a day off, it was like
the day off.
You have to earn it.
You have to earn it.
Yeah, got to earn the day off.
So, but what was our rookie dinner?
And the funny thing is, I asked.
Yeah, where did we go for the rookie dinner? We went to Nick and Sam's in Dallas. When you had the big Teemu, you had the big T-bone.
Tomahawk. Yeah,
the tomahawk.
Yes.
And Frenchie,
yes.
these guys, so Shane O'Brien's sitting there and these guys all tell him, oh, you should go shoot check Pronger. As I see him walk down and he's now on the ground, I'm like, kick him right in the face. I'm like, don't even think about it, kid.
Obi. Oh my God.
Obi, they got you hook, line, sinker.
Oh,
Don't even think about it.
Hey, Chicky, let's keep this rolling here. A few more from the Orange Alliance members. This is Henry B. Rusty Harris from Fullerton, California. He wanted you to compare the run in 03 to 07. Kind of what is there? Was there anything similar in those runs besides obviously getting over the hump?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in a sense that you feel it in the room. You feel that there's something special within your team. You feel that things are clicking for you personally, for the most part, and you feel like it's clicking for the team too. You get a good team chemistry. Guys are accepting their role. So all these things were true. I think the difference between 03 and 07 is 03, we were the underdog the whole time. You know, nobody expected us to be there. We just surprised everybody, and we came in and tried to, you know, we played a good game under Mike Babcock and a good defensive game, and but we weren't expected to win. In 07, we came in as, you know, as the team that we were expecting. Within the dressing room, we knew that we had the team to win. We had that confidence in our dressing room. So when we played against Jersey in 03, I think they had the advantage because they'd been there before. They had guys that knew how to win. None of us in Anaheim in 03 knew how to win a final. You know, every game was a new challenge and a new adventure for us. So once we got to Game 7 in 03, they had such a bigger advantage over us. But in 07, that was way different. We had experience, and we had Scott Niedermayer that, you know, had won the cup and had won everything that he's won before, and he was such a steady force for us, a steady leader. He knew how to keep us calm, and he knew how to drive that train that we had, and it was different that way.
Yeah, both very cool, very fun to watch.
Jig, I have a question for you. I've never even asked this, but so 03, when you guys lost the Game 7 and you were MVP in the playoffs, which is unbelievable. I don't think it's ever happened that the losing team player is going to be MVP. How did you feel afterwards? Like was that a little better feeling because you played so well and you were MVP, or did that matter at all?
It was it's something that I'm really proud of today, but at the time it was an awful feeling.
The emotion on your face, Jiggy, you could see it.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, hockey is such a team sport, you know, and you go to war. You said it earlier, like it's a battle. Every night is a battle, and you can only win it if all 20 guys show up. And to be rewarded at the end with the Conn Smythe, you know, it's not satisfying. You know, you get the other team celebrating. All my teammates are gone. They're in the dressing room, and I don't know if you guys remember the old Jersey rink. The dressing rooms were so bad, and there was a table outside the dressing room where you could take your sticks and stuff. So I just came back, and I was by myself. I just said the Conn Smythe there, and I went back in the room, and nobody knew for probably another 30, 40 minutes that I'd won the Conn Smythe. It was really a weird feeling, and it's not, you know, like I said today, I'm proud of it. It's something that probably the best I've ever played in my career, but, you know, you just want to win the cup. Much more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Gents, a little side note here. We're going to take a little detour. We know that Chris Pronger is a veteran of social media. We know that Teemu Selanne likes to do TikToks and stuff like that, whatever that means. All over the place. Jiggy, are you on social? And I apologize in advance. Maybe I'm not following you. Are you active on social media?
I'm active, but I'm creeping. I just watch everybody, and nobody knows who I am. I'm just, you know.
I couldn't find you. There's like a lot of Jiggies and JS Gigueres out there, but obviously they weren't you, so I couldn't figure it out.
He can't write in English.
What's that, Teemu?
He can't write in English, so that's. one reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently his kids can't either.
Hey, so think about, hey, during this coronavirus thing, he has been teaching his kids to speak English. That's savage, you know. That's not fair.
Teemu, I'll take. Hey, hold on. I'll take my English over yours any day. And you've
Oh
been
my
living in California for like 30 years.
English, hey, English and math, you should not even touch it.
Gosh.
Okay, well, I'm getting somewhere with this. This was a nice lead up. This is a nice lead up. So Christine Rains Jarin, hopefully I got that right, from Orange, California. Have you guys seen Getzlaff? Supposedly he made a chicken coop. Have you seen that on social media? Apparently during this quarantine, he made a chicken coop in his backyard.
Have you seen it, T?
Have you guys seen it at all?
I have seen him almost every day. His whole family is driving go-karts back and forth. And he told he's going to get some chickens, but I haven't actually seen them yet. Actually, that's a good idea, though.
Who knows if it's real? Apparently he made it, but who knows if it's even standing. So he probably had someone make it for him. But the question is, we know Jiggy's been teaching English, but what are you other guys coming up with during this time? Anything creative?
Teemu, what are you doing?
Pronger,
You want me to go?
Teemu doing? Who's doing what? Somebody do something.
I am. Let's see. What
Instagram
am I doing?
Live.
My kids. I'm doing Instagram Live.
Yeah.
I am doing. My kids are doing online schooling. I am not teaching them.
Oh, that's
They
good.
do not want me teaching them. Let's see what else. My wife and I have a new business we started, and we're working on that.
What kind?
And
What is it?
what's that?
What is it?
kind?
Promote yourself.
It's a luxury travel business.
Oh, there you go.
Shocking.
Well-inspired
Event planning.
travels.
Event planning.
Not event planning. However, I could do that now.
You could.
Oh, 100% I could. Well-inspired travels. Check it out. Let me know.
Travels. All right.
All right, yeah, I will.
Travels.
I will.
Timu, you might need one. Jiggy, you need one.
Probably too expensive for me here.
It might be.
Might be.
Yeah, you
Okay,
guys
well, you
know
can
how it
afford it.
goes. Oh my gosh.
I haven't been doing much, Frenchie, really. I pulled my back. You guys won't believe that. I was vacuuming and washing the floor, and the next day I couldn't walk. My back totally shut down, and it's been going on for 3 weeks. So
Were you dehydrated?
I might have been just a tad from the night before. always my issue, right? So anyway, I got an injection last week.
Oh, this is going well.
It was already planned. My back's been shot for a while now, and it was already planned. I canceled my injection about 3 or 4 weeks ago because of the COVID-19. And then I called the doctor last week. I'm like, no, I need it now. And then I'm getting another one tomorrow. So that's why I'm drinking water right now, because I'm getting a needle right through the spine. So not a fun day tomorrow.
Oh, great. Well, that's a way to bring everyone down, Jiggy. That's great.
Well, when you have to carry the team on your shoulder for so many years, I mean.
Apparently. I'll tell you what, we're getting close here. This has been fun. Obviously, we could do this for hours, it seems like. But thanks to the Orange Alliance members for everything. And just a last few notes. I'm going to kind of end this how we began. Oh, my God. Oh, I missed it. Oh, here. Listen. Now, do you remember Teemu's roast, Prongs?
Yes.
I remember too.
Yeah, see? Yeah, and by the way, he said he didn't hit me from behind.
That was clean check,
Hey,
Clean
8
check.
stitches right here. And then he wondered why. Then he wondered why I tried to kill him for 3 years.
Yeah. No wonder you
Yeah,
guys
but how
like
about
each other.
10 years before that? Hey, I think thousands of hits what I took from prongs, I got one back, and that felt so good.
Hey, Frenchie.
Was that the Olympics?
I'm on the bench. I'm on the bench. I'm bleeding all over the place. I'm bleeding. I'm like screaming. I'm like, the guy's trying, the trainer's trying to like just seal it so I can go finish a game. We got 3 minutes left. That was like 4 minutes left in the game. He runs you from behind. We win the game. All the guys are at center ice, and I beeline into the corner, chase down Teemu. I'm like, I'm gonna kill you, you dead. We play you. I already knew in my head when we played Anaheim. I'm like, I know when I play you, you're dead.
And luckily, you guys won the gold medals, so you were happy after all. So.
I forgot all about it.
But hey, honestly, Prongs were by far the toughest player to play against. Not only because he's big and strong, but he was so smart, and he was just evil out there. Evil.
mean.
When I heard that day that we got Prongs in our team, I was like, thank God. I felt healthier inside and outside.
I got into Anaheim. Day one, I get into Anaheim, and I go out for lunch with Randy, and he goes, I need to talk to you. We got to talk about a couple things. He's like, hey, listen, I talked to Teemu. Everything's okay. What? He's like, Teemu's excited you're here. I'm like, I didn't realize I needed his permission to get trained here. I'm like, oh my God.
He's the mayor of Anaheim, so yeah.
I'm like, thanks, Randy. I get it. He's like, hey, we're here for one reason and one reason only, and it's to win a cup.
And it was funny because over the years, it was obviously we always played against each other. Right? It was so hard, But the thing is, we were yappy. We were just giving back and forth, But the thing first, I remember when we met first time in the locker room.
Yeah.
And you said, Teemu, come here. A big hug.
Give me a big hug.
And one of the best teammates ever.
We're teammates now, baby. Let's do it.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. We got Game 5 right around the corner. Just a quick note, gents, another Alex Gilchrist moment, so please bear with me here. The Ducks are the only team in NHL history to play at least 6 home games in the Stanley Cup final and win them all. Jiggy, of course, started all 6 of those games. So as we say our goodbyes, obviously the fans meant a lot. This is all about the Orange Alliance members here today. If you guys could say a few well wishes to our fans and kind of what they meant to you, and of course, during this tough time, thank them for their great support. Bronx, why don't you head out? Kick us off.
No, I just want to thank the fans for being there, supporting us. Sometimes they don't realize how vitally important they are to either pick the guys up or excite the bench, excite the guys coming out for games, periods, etc. And certainly in times like these that we're going through right now, we certainly appreciate it, each and every one of them, especially the first responders.
Jig.
We'll say, Prongs, it was always a blast playing in Anaheim, such a beautiful building. And in the final, you guys were, the seventh player out there, always helped us, give us energy when we needed it. And, we always felt like we had a home ice advantage. And, that's because you guys were there and, you were present and you were cheering for us and in a way that really meant something for us. So I hope everybody stays safe, healthy, and we'll see each other soon enough, hopefully. In the meanwhile, maybe we'll see some hockey this summer. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sure that as soon as we'll be able to travel again, I'll make my way down to California and hope to see you guys again.
Teemu, bring us home.
Yes, first of all, we all know that how great fans are in hockey. I think the hockey has the best fans. And I think this time right now, I think both sides can appreciate even more about hockey and the players and especially the players. Most of the guys, they treat fans great, and it's a two-way street, And the players, when they realize how much appreciate those fans appreciate what we do, and that relationship is so special, and that's what I miss probably the most, And now when you're talking about playing some games even without the crowd, that would be so wrong, because I don't think anybody would enjoy that. Even real game, the fans bring that feeling and atmosphere in the rink, and the passion and everything what happens in the game, and that's why every player appreciate and love those fans, and especially Ducks fans. They are like part of the family, and I wish them all the luck. And even like it's tough time, but hopefully this is going to be soon over and we can start to continue normal life. And but I just want to tell the fans how important they are, and we all love them.
Well, guys, it's just
Frenchie,
with you that
one last thing.
Yeah, go.
Can I get one last thing?
Yeah, go.
Teemu, give us pregame. Walking out in the ice. Let's go.
It's a showtime, passion boys.
And talking with you guys, you can tell why that 07 team was so special. It's been a true joy, gents. I miss you guys a lot, man. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you, and hopefully my well wishes to you and your families during this time. Stay safe and be well. And want to also say the same to our Orange Alliance members. Thanks for all the great questions. And don't forget Game 5 of the 07 finals coming your way in Prime Ticket and Fox Sports Go. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully we will see you at the rink very soon. Have a great one, everyone.